Well, Fellow Travelers is set during the Lavender Scare. So it's during McCarthyism in America when Eisenhower was president, and hundreds of employees of the US government lost their jobs. And much as happened across so many intellectual creative classes under McCarthy's scare, people were traumatized, and you not only lost your job, but gays and lesbians were outed to their families, they were outed in the workplace, and the process was inhumane. And so Fellow Travelers that's the larger frame in which it's set, but it's about two men who have an intimate relationship and are navigating who they are in the world, navigating intimacy, navigating their own moral and ethical codes that they inherited versus what they know to be true.
There are moments sung and where there's text and the actors are communicating with each other in front of an audience. There are also moments where we realize we're in a theater in a time where not everything could be said, and there's distance between the audience and the actors on stage. Mercifully, in the Coles Center, it's much less distance than you would find in a larger space. But we're still not dealing with a medium of TV or film where you can see the twitch of someone's eyebrow or a slight expression change. So the music can provide us some contextual clues to what's happening emotionally with these characters. I think Grieg does that brilliantly. I think Verdi does that brilliantly. I think Mozart does that brilliantly. And so for me, this is a continued exploration in musical storytelling that has been going on since music was created. And I think when you find a piece like this, the music makes it that much more powerful. It could exist on its own as a play and be great. That's not how it's been developed so far, and I'm really grateful for that.
I also think as an opera, music represents sometimes what can't be spoken, where the characters don't have the courage inside a certain context to speak the truth, to articulate the truth. And the music can be the voice of the heart, the voice of the body in those moments. But there's also characters who are discovering their sexuality and discovering intimacy for the first time. And because it takes place pre the gay rights movement, pre the sexual revolution in this country, characters didn't necessarily have the facility of language to describe their affections, their impulses, their sexuality that we do in the 21st century, and that's where music steps in and can tell that truth. When we began to look at how do these people move through space, there definitely is a uniform to life on the Hill in DC, and I would guess there's still a pretty articulated uniform. And so in some ways in costumes there's subtle decisions between one look and the next, and that a handkerchief in a pocket has huge meaning, where if you're doing something that's much more theatrical, you might see just a much more variety on stage. So Trevor Bowen, our costume designer, and I've really kind of said, okay, what are the details that perhaps carry more weight than they might in another context. The scenic design, we spent a lot of time looking at architecture in DC, looking at the monuments, looking at all of the characters intersect with the government, and so we wanted the space to feel like it was an institution bigger than anyone. And the significant kind of icon that comes and goes the most is a series of Venetian blinds that come in, that harken our time period of mid-century, but that are also, I think, about this voyeurism, and often the actors, singers, and the audience, there's this blind that comes and goes between them. So that audience has to confront their own kind of, when am I stepping into someone's private space, and judging that as the government.